So I was at this local free clinic uptown, and I had something going on with my teeth, and they told me that I had periodontal disease. And so they started explaining to me about how much these cleanings were going to cost and the things you needed to do. And again, I was very young and the gum recession wasn't that bad. So I was like, no, I'm not going to pay for this. I can't afford to pay for this. And I don't believe you when you're telling me this is a big deal. And then that problem continued with me being not able to access care because of how expensive it was and also how kind of rude staff was about this thing with me. So, I just kept brushing harder until my gums were gone. And then later in life, I started to understand like the depth of this problem and how bad this was going to get for me. And my gums were in bad shape by then and lots of bleeding and other issues. And I started looking for alternative therapies. Very little progress was being made, even after using the antibiotic that they put in there, whatever that's called. And really wasn't even what you would call stable. Like, it was just getting worse, no matter how much I cared for it. And I was much better at my cleaning at that point and my regularity, and there was just no stopping the periodontal disease at that point. Bleeding was a big part of it, and what bothered me the most was noticing the maximum amount of gum recession everywhere. Like, my teeth are extremely long now, and the exposed roots would begin getting lots of bad coffee stains. The exposed gums, of course, are quite sensitive to hot and cold. Biting into things that are hard can be difficult, and I've got some loose teeth in the back, the molars, so you'll notice that from time to time. I have some pretty bad pockets, especially around the molars, which I guess is common in situations like mine. So mine goes way down. I have these giant pockets in between my teeth and the back where, food can get stuck, debris. This can cause like small infections, and then you start to have pain back there. And it's a constant issue that you got to make sure, did I clean my teeth good enough tonight? And it just became this vicious cycle, along with, again, the bleeding gums, the gum recession. And that was really what bothered me the most about it. But then the bone loss came in, and I started getting very bad bone loss, and the entire side, my right side of my face, my teeth have caved in quite a bit, my bite is off. I do not have straight teeth anymore, and I am missing a significant portion of my skull because of periodontal disease. So bone rot, that is a big part of what bothered me the most. The fact that my mouth was rotting on me and my skull was incredibly depressive because I'm big into health and fitness. Like, I have an extremely disciplined diet and exercise regimen. Like, I do everything to keep myself in great shape, and there's nothing I could do to stop this problem in my mouth. So it was a very central focus for me, especially like in those winter months when you start to get a little depressed and focused on the things you need to fix when you can't go outside and have fun. I would just dwell on this tooth problem, and I would start searching for what can I possibly do to set this right, finding no answers. I would try anything I could find them talking about online. If Reddit was like, try xylitol, I didn't buy a little xylitol. I bought a bag of xylitol, and I would use it 3-4 times a day. There are all kinds of other options out there that I've sought out that I wasn't able to really access, but it was because I did a lot of research, and they're like, hey, LANAP, that can cost you $5,000. Still no guarantees it's going to take care of your periodontal disease. So there's just no hope, not even like deep surgical restructuring. Well, one of the things that was very noticeable after I started using ProEncia was my gums got tighter. And so I wouldn't have these times where I had like, red kind of soft tissue around the gums anymore that would hurt. That left completely. I don't get that anymore. My gums are pinker, and I believe that ProEncia had a pretty profound effect on reducing inflammation. And so that would be probably the number one effect I think I've got from using the product. I'm going to use ProEncia continually until I'm dead, or until I get some type of surgery that can reverse this condition. I don't see myself quitting it for any reason. Today I can eat absolutely anything I want. I'm fine. I can crunch into nuts and chips and whatever. Hot coffee, cold drinks. I don't have any kind of problems like that. Except, of course, like I was saying, during travel, which I don't think is necessarily related. But yeah, on a day-to-day basis, I don't have any dietary restrictions due to my periodontal disease any longer. Definitely in the past, like after I was done brushing my teeth, if the water was really cold, I hated that moment. That could be quite the shock. And I would have to sip water, and I hated ice. I didn't want ice in any of my drinks, and I don't have a problem with that as much anymore. Like I don't care if ice bumps my teeth now. So one thing I have noticed, especially since I started using the ProEncia, was as I would go for those treatments, the expensive treatments with the periodontist, their claims of how bad my condition is have lessened to a great degree. Again, originally it was like, oh, you got plaque deep in your pockets. You have these long, expensive cleanings. And now when I'm going in, they're like, oh, you only have biofilm, which I choose now to get cleanings less frequently because they're not as necessary. That has been a direct correlation since I've begun the treatment and been taking care of my teeth really well at home as well. I have had multiple recharting since then with a third party actually at the college down the road, and a new number of my pockets have actually improved. I'm not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination, and I'm not going to be because there's only so much that can happen, but I got definitive improvement over this period of time, while I was using the product as well as doing my pretty rigorous hygiene on top of that. It's been chartable. It's not just my opinion. I don't really like self-reporting. I think it's unreliable, but when you've got, hard measurements that I've been getting at the clinic, that's different. And I like seeing that because it makes me feel like, hey, something good is happening for me here and I am going to continue to do it. I feel a lot more hopeful about like my mouth health and my health in general. I found treatment. I found something that at least seems to be helping along with whatever else I'm doing. Like I feel better about it. And I worry about a lot of other things that are associated with periodontal disease, like early onset Alzheimer's, and again, that loss of bone that could cause all kinds of other problems, which seems to have halted. And so when you've got big picture issues in the back of your mind, like Alzheimer's, I'm gonna get Alzheimer's from my tooth decay, man, that's some pretty stressful stuff, and I feel like that is off my plate, at least for the time being, which is a great benefit to me. The stability I feel from ProEncia, the lack of inflammation, and the fact that my charts are getting a little bit better here and there, it's a lot of weight lifted off my shoulders. Like I don't feel like, it's over yet. I think the number one thing that I've learned through like this whole horrible journey of periodontal disease is like you've got to jump on this right away. So if you've been diagnosed, or if you haven't been diagnosed, you just think you're seeing your gums retrace, get on it now. And it's better to use something at home that you're able to like administer on your own and do good home health care after you've gotten a diagnosis from a professional than to wait this out, even if you don't have the money. Because if you don't got the $300 for a cleaning today, it's going to cost you $900 tomorrow, but it might cost you, $50 online to get something to help you in the meantime, like ProEncia or something that does the same thing it's supposed to do.